As I was eating dinner at home as usual, a message suddenly popped up in the homeowner group chat. At owner of 1208, I heard from the property management that 1209 is also your property, right? Before I could reply, another message from the same person popped up. My place is just too small for my family. Anyway, your apartment is just sitting there empty, and you, a young lady, can't possibly use all that space. The message was blunt and rude. I couldn't be bothered to respond and just put down my phone, but the person wouldn't let it go. Don't worry, I won't stay for free. I'll give you 50 yuan a month in rent. You won't lose out. I was almost amused by the audacity. 50 yuan for an apartment? Was she joking? Her profile picture looked like a woman around 30, with the group nickname Heather. To stop her from rambling on in the group chat, I typed out 2 words. Not renting. I thought that would be the end of it. But maybe because she saw my reply, she started messaging even more enthusiastically. Don't reject me so quickly. Let me explain. I'm doing this for your own good too. Look, your apartment is just sitting empty anyway. I'm offering you 50 yuan a month. That's 600 a year, which is quite a bit when you add it up. Besides, a house needs people living in it to have vitality. Like houses in our countryside, if no one lives in them, don't they just fall into disrepair? I couldn't believe a normal adult was typing this. The community I live in now is considered a mid to high-end one in River City. The environment isn't top tier, but it wasn't cheap when I bought it. It's close to my workplace, which is why I bought an apartment here. I'm an only child. My parents often come to visit me. For convenience, my father also bought a large flat apartment right next to mine so they could stay there when they visit. That's the one Heather mentioned, 1209. I had advised my dad against it, saying he could just stay with me when he visited. But my parents have been as close as ever for decades, needing their own space like young lovers. So, ignoring my chenzu, he insisted on buying 1209 next door. I was about to retort in the group when my phone buzzed with a message from the property manager. Miss Sue, that's a tenant from the unit next to yours. She usually doesn't think before she speaks. Please don't mind her. Just refuse her, but please don't get into a conflict with her. Otherwise, she'll come to our office to make a scene again, and it'll be hard for us to handle. Seeing the property manager's message, I suppressed my urge to retort. The property management in our community usually does a conscientious job, and I have a good relationship with them. Since the manager asked, I was willing to give them that face. I patiently replied to Heather in the group. Sorry, it's not about the money. That apartment isn't vacant. It was bought by my parents and they often stay there. It's really not convenient to rent out. Please look elsewhere. I don't know if Heather couldn't see the refusal in my words or was intentionally playing dumb. Her reply came instantly. That's easy. When your parents come, just have them stay at your place. Don't think I don't know. All the units in your building are large flats with plenty of space. 50 yuan a month, you should think carefully. That's not a small amount. My patience was completely exhausted at this point. Not renting. Find somewhere else. Maybe sensing my displeasure, her next message was slightly softer. Alright, how about this? When your parents come, we'll just move out temporarily, okay? They can stay if they want, but I'm telling you now. I'll deduct the rent for the days they're here. Business is business. I sneered inwardly and was about to reply when other homeowners chimed in. What's wrong with you? The young lady said she doesn't want to rent. Why are you pestering her? Even if her parents weren't going to use the place, it's her right to leave it empty. The law doesn't say she has to rent it to you. Stop causing trouble in the group late at night. Bullying a young lady? Maybe due to the other homeowners standing up for me, Heather didn't say another word in the group that night. The next morning, I was woken by a knock on my door. I opened the door to find a strange middle-aged man standing there. He was holding a bundle of dried noodles, a fawning smile plastered on his face. Sorry, Miss Sue. Heather from the group chat yesterday is my wife. I'm Andrew. She was a bit rude last night. I've already given her a piece of my mind. These are dried noodles we make ourselves back in our hometown. Please take them and try them. By the way, could I come in and sit for a moment? I thought Heather had backed down in the group last night because of the other homeowners. Turns out, her husband had lectured her. As the saying goes, it's hard to hit a smiling face. Although I was still unhappy because of Heather's behavior, I stepped aside to let him in. As soon as he sat down, Andrew rubbed his hands together and began. Miss Sue, look, although my wife's tone was off last night, what she said wasn't wrong. We're all neighbors here. Your apartment next door is just sitting empty. Renting it to us would give you extra income, give my family a place to live. It's a win-win, right? Besides, my wife is right. A house needs people living in it to have vitality. Andrew smirked ingratiatingly. So, the reason I came today is first to apologize to you in person, and second, to discuss the rental matter with you face to face. I sneered inwardly. Now I truly understand the saying, people who share the same bed don't have two different kinds of dreams. If you came to talk about this, you should leave now. I made it very clear in the group yesterday. That apartment is not for rent. Seeing my refusal, Andrew quickly changed tactics. Miss Sue, you're still young. You just don't understand the struggles of someone with both elderly and children to support. I'm the only one working, supporting the whole family. The one-bedroom apartment we're renting now is also small. If this community weren't so close to my work, I wouldn't be able to afford renting here either. I'm from the countryside, it wasn't easy making it this far. My child is older now and needs to come to the city for school. If I don't get a bigger place, I couldn't listen anymore. I stood up, walked to the door and opened it. Mr. Andrew, your family situation is none of my concern. Your life stress wasn't caused by me. Please leave now. I have to go to work soon. I won't see you out. Hearing my blunt dismissal, the smile on Andrew's face finally faded. He stopped at the doorway and turned back, his gaze towards me now impatient. Little girl, you should always leave some leeway. You never know when you might cross paths with someone again. I've seen you at work. We should be from the same company. I'm considered a senior there. I hope you can be this tough at work too. I understood the threat in his words perfectly. But I work at my own family's company. Of course I can be tough. I didn't speak, just walked back into the living room. He thought his threat had worked, his tone smug. That's more like it. Young girls just lack life experience. We're neighbors after all. Before he could finish, I had already shoved the bundle of noodles he brought back into his arms. Sorry, I don't usually eat dried noodles. You better take these back. The smug smile on his face froze instantly. His lips moved soundlessly for a moment, but in the end, he didn't say another word. With a humph, he turned and left. The moment Andrew left, my phone rang. Another message from Heather. My husband just went to see you, right? Hurry up and clean out 1209. Tomorrow my mother-in-law, my child, and my younger brother are coming from the countryside. Oh, and my brother is quite handsome. I could introduce him to you later. I see you live alone, you don't have a boyfriend, right? We'll all be one big happy family then. How great is that? Her messages kept popping up one after another. I simply couldn't understand this family's logic. Don't argue with fools. Every extra word I exchanged with her felt like lowering my own IQ. Too annoyed to deal with her further, I simply left the homeowner group chat. I thought that would be the end of it. The next day was Saturday, and I planned to take my dog for a walk in the morning, and then visit my parents at the old house. But just as I returned from walking the dog and reached my doorstep, I saw the door to 1209 next door wide open. Startled, I quickly led my dog Dodo inside. As soon as I entered, I saw Andrew. Beside him stood a woman around 30, a woman around 60, let's call her Margaret, and a boy who looked about 7 or 8, let's call him Oliver. The woman was obviously Heather. As for the older woman and the child, they were the mother-in-law and son Heather mentioned yesterday. They didn't see me, just wandered around the living room, their restless eyes constantly surveying the furnishings. Not bad, not bad, this apartment is really nice. Living here. I'm really enjoying the blessings you kids have given me. Furious, I rushed forward and confronted them. How did you get in? This is my home. Get out immediately. Hearing my words, the older woman frowned. Sholan, is this the girlfriend you mentioned for Daju? The apartment looks nice, but this young lady seems completely lacking in manners. Such a bad temper. How is she supposed to take good care of Daju in the future? As she spoke, Margaret's eyes fell on Dodo. She quickly pulled her grandson back a step. And keeping such a beast. Get rid of it immediately. Look at the clothes on this beast, they mustn't be cheap. Good grandson, stay far away. Don't let this little beast hurt you. I was absolutely livid. Get out right now. This is breaking and entering. Get out of my house. Heather rolled her eyes at me. This young lady, don't you understand plain language? We're going to be family soon. This is your future mother-in-law. You and I will be sisters-in-law. What's yours or mine? Daju hasn't arrived yet. You'll like him once you see him, I'm sure. I was done wasting words on people who didn't understand human language. I pointed directly at the door and shouted angrily. Get out. Now. Or I'll call the police immediately. Heather started to say something, but Margaret reached out and stopped her. Go ahead. Call them. This new daughter-in-law dares to talk to me like this before even entering the family. Today, I'm going to teach her some proper rules. Let's see if the city police can interfere in family matters. Hearing this, I didn't want to say another word. I pulled out my phone and dialed the police. Hello, this is Unit 1209, Building 8, Binjiang Community. People have broken into my home. I'm afraid they might threaten my personal safety. Please. Before I could finish, a hand snatched my phone away. Smack. The next second, my phone was slammed hard onto the floor, shattering into pieces. You little bitch. You actually dared to call the police. I turned around and saw that the person who smashed my phone was Andrew. Seeing Andrew's actions, Heather and Margaret didn't stop him. Instead, they clapped and cheered. Smashed it good. That's my son, that's how you deal with her. Sensing the threat, Dodo bared his teeth and barked furiously at the four of them. Before I could pick Dodo up, Andrew's son kicked him hard. You little beast. Bark again, and I'll beat you to death today. Dodo is a Maltese, naturally very light. The kick sent Dodo yelping in pain. I couldn't hold back anymore and shoved Oliver hard. What are you doing? Startled by my shove, Oliver burst into loud wails. Seeing her child cry, Heather immediately grabbed my hair. Caught off guard, I was yanked to the ground. But Heather didn't stop. She flipped over, straddled me, and rained down slaps. You little girl daring to hit my son. You must be tired of living. Back in the day, I fought my way through the whole village undefeated. I can handle a little bitch like you. Hitting my son, I'll kill you. Margaret also spat at me viciously. Pa! A Janrun like you doesn't deserve my Daju. Our Zhang family deigning to want you is your good fortune. Look at yourself, you little fox. Oliver grabbed a blue and white porcelain vase from the entrance and smashed it right next to me. I'll smash you to death, you bitch, daring to push me. Seeing the vase shatter, Margaret gave her grandson a thumbs up. That's my good grandson. That's right. If someone bullies you, you hit them back. Heather finally stood up, looking down at me condescendingly. Learned your lesson now, huh? Disobeying the rules and hitting my son. I slowly got up from the floor, looking at the family before me. Breaking and entering, assault, intentional destruction of property. You'd better start thinking about what you're going to tell the police when they get here. Hearing this, Andrew, who had been silent, couldn't hold back anymore. I've been too nice to you. Looks like you haven't learnt your lesson yet. Margaret also stepped forward, raising her hand high. You little bitch. You just won't repent. I heard you and Lei are in the same company. You're young, living in such a big place. Who knows what you do behind closed doors? I bet some old man is keeping you, and he bought this place for you, right? I grabbed Margaret's wrist and flung it hard. I was caught off guard when Heather pulled me down earlier, but I wasn't going to let them touch me again. My shove sent Margaret stumbling, almost falling. This time Margaret was furious. This little bitch. This little bitch. I must have hit a nerve, daring to lay hands on me. Smash it. Smash it all. This unlucky house, I wouldn't live here now even if you paid me. With Margaret's command, she herself was the first to grab the ashtray from the coffee table and hurl it to the floor. Oliver got excited instantly, grabbing a small stool and starting to smash things everywhere. Andrew wasn't about to be left out. He jumped onto the sofa and reached for an ancient painting hanging on the wall. I spoke coldly. That's an original by Master Zhang from the auction 2 years ago. 30 million yuan. I suggest you think twice. Andrew's hand holding the painting froze. But Margaret was screaming maniacally beside him. Ha ha ha. Who are you trying to fool? 30 million? 30 million in ghost money. Do you even know how much 30 million is, you braggart? Andrew's face showed a look of course. The next second, the ancient painting was slammed to the ground, its frame shattering with a crack. Oliver started jumping up and down on the painting. Soon the painting was completely ruined. Heather didn't join the smashing. Instead, she took advantage of the chaos and slipped into my parents' bedroom. When she came out, her hands were full of my mother's jewelry. Her eyes filled with greed. I was about to say something when a commanding voice came from the entrance, and several police officers rushed into the room. Seeing the police, Margaret, who had been fearless up to now, finally showed a flicker of panic. Ignoring the family, I suppressed the pain all over my body and walked forward. I'm the one who called the police. With the police present, Andrew and his family didn't dare say much. After hearing the sequence of events, the officer turned to Andrew. Is that what happened, as this lady said? Margaret spat first. She's lying. Officer, this little bitch is my younger son's girlfriend. I'm her future mother-in-law. This little bitch was disobedient. I was just disciplining her. Don't listen to her nonsense. I snorted coldly. I don't know these people. As for her younger son, I've never even seen him. Please, officers, take them away from my home. My words instantly ignited Margaret's fury. You little bitch. You're trying to destroy my whole family. This house was going to be rented to us anyway. I can do whatever I want in my own home. Don't try to scare me, old woman. I wasn't born yesterday. Margaret kept arguing irrationally, and the officer frowned. Enough. This is no place for you to throw a tantrum. The homeowner is accusing you of breaking and entering. You're coming with us. I pointed to the fragments of the blue and white vase and the ruined painting on the floor. I need Jonye Runyan to come and assess the damage to my home. Especially these two items. They were collection pieces my father brought back from auctions, worth tens of millions. Andrew was furious. You're lying. Why didn't you say that before? Now that the stuff is destroyed, you're trying to scam us. I gave Andrew a cold glance. Didn't I say it? Did any of you believe me? Ignoring Andrew, I pointed instead at Heather, who was now pale with fright, and the things in her hands stuffed into her pockets. Those are all my mother's jewelry. That counts as robbery, doesn't it? Heather's hands trembled, and the jewelry clattered to the floor. I didn't take them, I didn't. I was just looking, I wasn't trying to steal. Seeing the state of this family, what was there left for the experienced officers to understand? They turned to Andrew and his family. Come with us. It was only then that Andrew truly felt fear. He wiped the anger from his face and forced a smile at me. Xiaosu, look, we're neighbors, colleagues at the same company. We're bound to run into each other. Why make it so difficult? How about we just forget it? I laughed out loud. Forget it? Who do you think you are? You destroy tens of millions of yuan worth of my property, you assault me, and you think we can just forget it? There's no room for negotiation today. Scared now? Where was this fear earlier? I turned to the officer beside me. Please take them away. I do not accept reconciliation. Let the law take its course. The moment I finished speaking, the old woman lunged and shoved me hard. Little bitch, I'll kill you. I never imagined she would dare to lay hands on me right in front of the police. This time, completely off guard, I crashed hard into the coffee table. A sharp pain shot through my arm, and my head hit the corner of the table with a heavy thud. My vision went dark and I lost consciousness. When I woke up, I was in the hospital. The moment I opened my eyes, my head throbbed with pain. I looked down. My left arm was in a cast, broken presumably. I touched my head with my right hand. Sure enough, it was wrapped in thick bandages. Seeing me awake, the officer who had been standing guard quickly spoke up. Miss Jamie, how are you feeling? We've contacted your parents. Don't worry, they'll be here soon. He hesitated, a troubled look on his face. Regarding your report, we've completed the initial interrogation and statements. The Andrew family is now outside the ward. They're insisting on seeing you. Would you like to? Maybe they heard voices from inside the ward. Before the officer could finish, Andrew and Heather burst in. Heather's earlier arrogance was gone. Miss Sue, look, the police have already lectured us. We know we were wrong. How about we just let this go? The police said if you're willing to reconcile, this can be treated as a civil dispute. Don't worry, we'll do our best to compensate you for your hospital bills and losses. Please just consider dropping the case. Andrew stood beside her, nodding frantically. Yes, yes, yes. We realize our mistake now. I'm the only one earning money in my family, supporting everyone. If I'm locked up, the old and the young at home won't survive. We're neighbors this matter. I coldly interrupted them. I made it very clear this afternoon. I do not accept mediation. Let the legal process run its course. Besides, you probably can't afford to compensate for that vase and the painting. Now please leave. I need to rest. Seeing my firm attitude, Andrew gritted his teeth and spoke slowly. Miss Sue might not know this, but with antiques, once they're destroyed, it's impossible to appraise them. The price isn't determined by your word or mine. I advise you to be merciful. I snorted coldly. Is that a threat? Even if an appraisal isn't possible, I told you both items were bought at auctions. There are auction records, payment receipts. Do you think you can get out of this? Instead of pestering me here, I suggest you think about how you're going to handle this situation. Heather quickly tugged at Andrew's sleeve. Sister, look, we're just country folk. We don't understand these things. Wasn't I trying to do good by you from the start? Get you some extra income, introduce you to my brother-in-law. Make the bond even stronger, right? If you didn't want it, you should have said so earlier. This whole mess is partly your fault too, isn't it? I was almost amused by their shamelessness. Didn't I say no? From the very first time you mentioned renting the place, I refused. I refused repeatedly. You came to my door, you talked about introducing me to your brother-in-law. Did I ever say yes? Enough. I need to rest. Get out. The moment I finished, Margaret came scurrying into the ward like the wind. You bitch. You're trying to destroy my entire family. Margaret's sudden appearance startled everyone. The officer quickly stepped forward. Ma'am, please step outside. Andrew also hurried to pull his mother. Mom, didn't I tell you to wait outside? The officer stood there at a loss. She was elderly, they couldn't use overly forceful methods. Andrew tried the emotional appeal again. Miss Sue, look, my mother is old, my child is young. The whole family depends on me. If something really happens to me, how will this family survive? We'll do our best to compensate you for your losses. Can't we just talk this through? My head was pounding. I didn't want to talk anymore. But before I could refuse, a greasy voice came from the doorway. Wow, this hospital is huge. Took me forever to find this place. Everyone's eyes turned towards the door. Margaret's face lit up, and she hurried towards the entrance. Daju, you're finally here. Come talk to your wife. She's trying to drive your mother to her death. From Margaret's reaction, this man walking in must be Andrew's younger brother Luke. He was about 170 centimeters tall at most, and definitely weighed no less than 100 kilograms. He walked over to Margaret, then turned to look at me lying in the hospital bed. He snorted. I've heard all about it. Tell me, why are you so difficult? In our village, a woman with your temperament wouldn't find a husband. Enough. Apologize to my mother, and we'll let bygones be bygones. And get that apartment of yours ready. We're waiting to move in. Andrew quickly tugged at his brother, signaling him to stop. But Luke shook off his hand. What are you doing, big brother? Me disciplining my own wife is none of your business. Mom's right. A wife needs to be taught the rules before she enters the house, or she'll be nothing but trouble. Look, she's causing this kind of trouble even before entering the house. How can we not make her apologize to Mom? I couldn't take it anymore. I grabbed a pillow from the bed and hurled it at the family. Get out. All of you, get out. All further matters will be handled by my lawyer. I don't want to see them again. The officer also helped, urging them out. All right, everyone out now. Miss Sue is a patient and can't take this stress. Don't crowd around here. Seeing the situation was hopeless, Andrew herded his family out. Even as they were leaving, the old woman and Luke kept muttering curses, saying things like I was ungrateful. Finally, the ward fell silent. I looked at Andrew, who was still standing there. What are you waiting for? I'll say it one last time. There is no room for reconciliation. Andrew's mouth twitched, his face holding back anger. We're in the same company. I'm technically your senior. Are you really going to disrespect me like this? Jamie, I'll say it again, leave some leeway. You never know when you'll need it. I haven't been working at this company all these years for nothing. If you really won't let me live, I swear I'll make your life at work impossible. As soon as Andrew finished, a deep, authoritative male voice echoed through the room. I'd like to see that. My company. Who dares to make my daughter's life impossible? The ward door opened, and standing outside were my parents. And Andrew's family. Jaws dropped. My mother rushed to my side, her eyes red with worry. My precious daughter, what happened? Your hand, your face, your head, who did this? The moment I saw my parents, all the weight I'd been holding back finally overflowed. Big tears streamed down my face and I couldn't speak. My mother gently cradled me in her arms, patting my back soothingly. Just like when I was little. My father came to my side too, his face etched with concern. It's okay. Dad's here. Dad will make this right. He turned away, and the concern on his face instantly morphed into stern authority. He glanced at Andrew. Andrew, is it? You're the one who hurt my daughter. Andrew was already pale with fear, unable to utter a word. Heather, standing at the door, stumbled in and fell to her knees before my father. Mr. Benjamin. Mr. Benjamin. It wasn't my husband who hit her. He had nothing to do with it. It was me. I hit her. I was blind, I didn't know who I was dealing with. It was all me. Blame me, arrest me. My husband had nothing to do with it, Mr. Zhang. My father ignored Heather, his gaze fixed on Andrew. So it turns out all this time, a low-level employee of my Sioux group has been throwing his weight around, brandishing the Sioux name like a flag. Andrew, you've got more nerve than I do, the actual general manager. Andrew trembled for a long time but still didn't dare say a word. Seeing my father ignore her, Heather started slapping herself hard, one blow after another. It's all my fault. All my fault. I was blind and offended, Miss Sue. I'm hitting myself back. I'm hitting myself back now. Please, Mr. Benjamin, calm down. Please calm down. Andrew stood frozen, just muttering under his breath. You're Benjamin's daughter. You're Benjamin's daughter. How can this be? How can this be? My mother was tired of watching this farce. She looked at the officer standing nearby. Officer Lee, please take them away. My daughter needs rest. Our lawyer is outside. Any further communication should go through him. The officer nodded and ushered them all out of the ward. Andrew was completely dazed. Heather kept wailing. As for Margaret and Luke, they were scared stiff. They hadn't dared to come near the ward since my parents arrived. Finally, the ward was quiet. My mother turned back to me, tears streaming down her face. It's all your father's fault. He insisted you gain experience at the company, so you moved out alone. This time, no arguments. You're moving back to the old house. It's too dangerous living alone out there. My mother kept wiping her tears as she spoke. It was both heartbreaking and a little funny. Mom, this was an accident. Don't worry, I can take care of myself. Besides, you know Dad's heart isn't really in the company anymore. I need to step up quickly. Soon, you and Dad can just relax and enjoy life. My father nodded vigorously from the sidelines. Well said. That's my daughter. You did nothing wrong. And every single person who hurt you, Dad won't let a single one off. I suddenly remembered and grabbed my mother's hand. What about Dodo? That brat kicked him. Is he okay? My mother gave me a mock-scolding look. Worrying about Dodo when you're in this state. Don't worry. The secretary took him to the vet. Nothing serious, just a bit traumatized. You focus on yourself. I thought it was finally over. A week later, I was discharged from the hospital and returned to the community. But as soon as I entered the gate, a figure appeared in front of me. You bitch. This is all your fault. Andrew lunged out from behind a flower bed. A dagger clutched in his hand, blocking my path. His eyes were bloodshot, his gaze venomous as if dripping with malice. Why couldn't you just let it go? Someone like you could never understand how hard it is for country people like me to get ahead. Now my wife is inside, I've lost my job. You want to destroy me? Fine. No one lives. We die together. His words were vicious, but his body trembled slightly, and the hand gripping the dagger was white-knuckled from the strain. As he finished speaking, he lunged at me, the dagger aimed straight for my heart. I kicked him hard. The dagger flew from his hand, and he sprawled clumsily onto the ground. My arm was broken, but thankfully my legs worked fine. Andrew probably hadn't eaten or slept well that whole week. A kick from a young woman like me, and he couldn't even get up for a while. I walked slowly over to Andrew. I never tried to destroy you. You destroyed yourselves. Andrew, this time, no one can save you. As I spoke, I saw community security running towards us in the distance. I pulled out my phone and called my father. Dad, looks like you and Mom will have to turn around and come back again. After hanging up, I looked down at Andrew, who was lying on the ground, weeping bitterly. From start to finish, your family was the one causing trouble. You know better than I do who was wrong. This time it was attempted murder. Andrew was soon arrested and sent to join Heather. The last time I saw Andrew was in court. He was in handcuffs, looking at me with a sardonic smile. What do you have to be so smug about? You were just born lucky. If our positions were swapped, you'd be worse off than me. You know that. My lawyer started to speak, but I raised my hand to stop him. I faced Andrew directly. I don't believe that. I would never end up like you. After saying this, a mischievous smile curled at the corner of my mouth. But you're not entirely wrong. I was born lucky. So what? With that, without another glance, I walked out of the courthouse. There are always people in this world who never think they've done anything wrong. They blame their own mistakes on bad luck. But I'm different. Fate has been kind to me,